I don't know, out in some Irish bar out in Westport, but the upper decks of that building was used as a holding cell for slaves. So they would hold them there, and you know, this was basically a rest area if they was going from, you know, fucking different parts of Missouri, basically.
That's torture, man, to have them open that bar, that cover that much amounts of land, making them walk on foot. And they didn't have no shoes or nothing like that. A lot of them didn't have no shirts on, no clothes on. They had them marching naked, man, with shackles on their ankles, and bruises and blisters and cuts from wearing them things. They showed you that in that movie, Django. And then not only that, but like the brother was talking about the slave ships. The slave ships themselves killed so many massive amount of slaves. They packed them in because the warriors were so tough. They made sure they could pack as many slaves as they possibly could because they knew a lot of them was going to die. So they wanted to get their money's worth. So instead of just taking a couple of slaves at a time to make sure they could properly feed them and clothe them and nourish them the right way, they didn't care. It was about getting the massive numbers. It was greed, these damn devils. So they packed as many as they possibly could, and more than half of them died from suffocation and so on and so forth. They were shitting on themselves, peeing on each other, chained and shackled in the bottom of the ships, laying for 2 months, over 2 months at a time frame. Can you imagine? Breathing in all the feces, all the vomit, all the death. Women going into labor during that time period. It was grotesque. And on the top, like the brother said, on the top deck, they were having a field day with the women, man, a big orgy fest. With these crackers just going in as much as they wanted to do all these fucking women, sewing tears, man. And anything they didn't like, in some cases, they threw away slaves over the ships just for insurance problems. They had insurance back then too. So they would take a lot of the slaves that didn't survive, or purposely would just throw them over, become shark bait, and make an insurance claim and get money off of them. That's how wicked they did our people. You know, this why this devil has got to go down. I got another precept. It's the book of Romans chapter 9 verse 13. It says, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with Yahweh? Yahweh forbid. So is there unrighteousness for him making that statement that he had loved Jacob but hated Esau? Why would you not hate a man that did these type of things to another people? To his chosen people at that.
Go back to Ezekiel, right?
Because here it is. You know, you're not even the chosen people, but the Lord allowed you to rise up to power because we went off. But you're going to take that power and you're going to abuse it like that? You got it coming, man. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35. Verse 3, it says, then say unto thee, thus saith Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh.
Right, so these cities are going to be laid waste. They're all going to be destroyed. The thing about it is, a lot of them are going to be in rubble in the midst of this civil war and the martial law. You know, because a lot of people are going to be hiding in buildings, and Esau is going to come through and fucking pillage it, man. Fucking tear it down, make it desolate. But the thing is, ultimately, every city in America will be destroyed. Because this is the land of terrorism right here. This is the land of terrorism upon the Israelites. So go ahead.
And it says, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by force of the sword in their time of calamity.
Right, by the force of the sword. And all throughout history, these devils have killed our people with the sword. Started with the Native American Indian Wars. We had the Pontiac Wars out there in Michigan, which Pontiac was a Native American Gadite chief. You know, he was a chief who fought against these Edomites, and Esau was killing Gad in those wars. We had the French and Indian War, which was the British devils versus the French, and the Gadites actually allied with the French. You have certain of them allied with the British, but what happens in the midst of that? Jake getting killed. You know? We have the Devil's Punch Bowl, which I'm gonna look up information on that real quick.
And it says, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. You know, so there's coming to a time where our iniquity is supposed to have an end to. There's supposed to be an end to our affliction, an end to our punishment. These devils want to continue. They don't want to release us. They don't want to release their grip upon the earth. And more importantly, they don't want to release their grip on us. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to war against the Yahweh Shem.
Got that. Black Main Street. It says, never forget, Devil's Punch Bowl. 20,000 freed slaves died after being forced into post-slavery concentration camp. So it says, history has always made concentration camps to be synonymous with the atrocities of Nazi Germany, but America has its own dirty secrets about the use of concentration camps. Yes, what's up, bro? These camps were located in Natchez, Mississippi, and were used to corral freed slaves during and after the American Civil War. As slaves were being emancipated from the plantations, their route to freedom usually took them in the vicinity of the Union Army forces. Unhappy with the slaves being freed, the Army began to recapture the slaves and force the men back into hard labor camps. The most notorious of the several concentration camps that were established was located in Natchez, Mississippi. So there you have it, man. 20,000 Jakes died. Here it is, our people were supposed to be freed out of slavery, but you had these Edomites recapture our people and put them in fucking concentration camps. Where they breaking their back and getting put to death if they ain't listening to these devils. Right. How much of an atrocity is that? Here it is, you think you about to get freed out of slavery. Then he's like, nope, come on. I'm working these, you know what I'm saying? This devil, man, you're the devil, man.
That's right.
That's why you're gonna get put to death.
That's right.
And all our people that don't want to wake up, you're gonna get put to death too.
Right.
Esau gonna show you, because he gonna put your ass. How much more now? That's why this devil wanna put us in concentration camps now. Because he know the Israelites wanna be free, man. You know the Israelites are gonna be free, so he wanna these niggas. You're gonna be slave forever. And that's why it goes into that, man. Ezekiel, man.
And it says, in the time of their iniquity had an end. Verse 5.
Okay.
Verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh, I will prepare unto thee blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Right, blood is gonna pursue these Edomites because of what they've done to the children of Israel. It's gonna pursue them. It's pursuing them now because you know what? Esau, his history cannot be denied.
Right.
It's pursuing him. It's on his back. He can't escape from his wicked history. In other words, wherever he goes, his fucking bloodshed and everything he did is attached to him. You devils, you ain't clear from your guiltiness, man. You're not clear from your guilt. Blood is chasing you because you shed so much damn blood. So now blood is gonna be upon you. It's gonna be your own blood.
That's right. And it says, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate.
Most desolate.
And cut
so that's a high degree. What the Lord is, in other words, what the Lord is saying, that's a high degree of destruction right there. Most desolate. It means you're going to be destroyed to the umpteenth degree.
Yeah, that means more than any other desolation that he talked about in the whole history of the scriptures.
Most desolate.
Most and all of that.
Yeah. You're going to get the worst. In other words, worse.
It says, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, and in thy hills and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it. Whereas
Right,
Yahweh
they
was
said
there.
that our people belong to them. So you saying that no, how the Most High, he doesn't have no rule over us. It's we belong to you. Meaning you're a thief, you stole us. The scriptures say what it says about a manslayer. I mean, or not a manslayer, but a man stealing. You steal a man, you shall be put to death. You can get that. Matter of fact, I'll get it, bro. Just hold it out. I'll read it.
And it says, two countries are mine, two nations are mine. It's talking about the southern and the northern kingdom. You know, that's a historical fact. What did they do? They went over to the western shores of Africa and they stole the so-called Negroes. And they also simultaneously, or right about 100 years before that took place, came over here to this side of the Americas and stole the Native Americans and the so-called Latinos, the indigenous people over here. They stole the two nations of people, two countries, and said that they were his and he was going to possess them. So the Lord is going to come back, man. In verse 11 it says, therefore as I live, saith Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger.
Let me bring this up. It's Exodus 21 and 16. It says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So that human trafficking, that's a death sentence, man. That's a sin worthy of death. Because look, as Israelites, that was the law for us not to do that to each other. We weren't supposed to steal a guy. You see a random dude, and then you just take him and put him in slavery. That's wicked. But the Esau, how much more when these heathen nations do that to us, the Most High's chosen people, you're gonna get the same thing. But you didn't do it to one man. You did it to our whole nation. You stole our whole nation. Well, how the fuck do you think we got on the western shores of America? By thievery, by man stealing. And then not to mention, you know, the northern kingdom was already over here, but you stole all their land. That's why when you go into places like Mexico, Brazil, Venezuela, the people in the top echelons, they're all fucking Edomites. Like the president of Mexico right now, if I'm not mistaken, he's an Edomite.
Right.
Straight up Edomite. But then, you know, because you will have some token people like Maduro and what's the other dude before? Chavez. I believe those were Jakes, but like the people that are behind them and the people that are the most wealthy in these Latin American countries where there's Northern Kingdom, they're Esau. A lot of them are so-called Jews.
Right.
They're Amalekites. Because the brother he gave a testimony, the brother in San Francisco, recall in San Francisco, he said he was going back and forth from Brazil, getting on the plane to go to Brazil, it's not with a whole bunch of so-called Jews on that plane. You know the locals ain't getting on planes like that.
Right.
It's the so-called Jews because he's doing business. He's going flying back and forth. And a lot of them live out there, man. Even going back to the time when Brazil was a slave colony. Them goddamn fake Jews was out there, man.
Right.
So now it's time to pay. So like,
that's why all the nicer, most adored, luxurious vacation spots and islands in the Caribbean, they're all owned by white people. They all been quote unquote Americanized or
Right.
British colonies. We got British people staying over here. It's not our people that's really living there as the vast majority. You go to some of them really, really nice, luxurious islands and stuff, Bermuda and all the nicest spots. You got a so-called white man living there with a fucking 5-story mansion. Like owns the whole damn island.
That's the real estate.
Right.
Best of the best.
Perfect example. Jeffrey Epstein, man. His pedophile island is in the Virgin Islands. U.S. Virgin Islands. Is that motherfucker a native there? No, he's not. He's a damn Edomite. So what's he doing? He was there being human trafficking, man, the children, people too. Any damn thing. It's coming out now too that this dude had submarines coming in and out of that fucking island. That's crazy.
That's supreme level.
And his woman, what's her name? G something. I don't fucking know. But she's the one that owns all the subs going in and out of that fucking island.
Same Maxwell.
Yep. And what's his name? Creepy Joe Biden owns some of them subs that went going in and out of it.
Hey, Joe Biden lost his fucking mind, man. That dude, he ain't been getting that adrenochrome, so now he's out of it, man. That dude, he could throw his ass in the nursing home somewhere. He might hey, he might drop dead before November comes, man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Here it is, he's the top. This motherfucker's supposed to be the top Democrat, you know,
Right.
running for president, but he might just drop dead, you know?
It says, verse 8, it says, and I will fill his mountains with his slain men, in thy hills and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas Yahweh was there. Therefore,
Right, just like, no, see, because they comparing themselves to the Most High. It says, whereas Yahweh was there, so they saying, they taking the place of the Most High. They're saying, look, we're your new gods, we're your new people. That's why you got images like this, Chesedek, Borgia. Just like the Most High was in our temple, he put his fucking defiled image on our temples, man.
and it says, therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and will make myself known among them when I have judged thee.
Right, so according to Esau's anger, he showed us nothing but anger. You know? Nothing but fucking oppression, anger.